Welcome, Matthew. Lovely to see you again. It's always a delight. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what's happened this year in the crypto blockchain space. It was a year of great high and now a great low, and I'm wondering if you've got a good overview of that.
Yes, well, it's a very broad question. I think that 2018 was a year to continue to build on this protocol, the blockchain protocol, and the stack of new technologies that's going to be created and is being created on top of that protocol. I think a lot of infrastructure was beginning to be put in place. I think some real companies got launched, and a lot of teams began to focus on learning how to build with these technologies. On the other hand, I think that the investment community got ahead of itself a little bit. Okay. And I think we used and embraced a new form of investing, technology-enabled crowdfunding, or ICOs, which was a little bit a proof of concept. And I think it will bode an awful lot for the future of investing. Tokenization and technology-enabled investing is the future. Right. But I think that we allowed a lot of teams with unbaked ideas to raise capital through an unproven means, and that obviously needed to reverse itself. And then in terms of the actual crypto assets and cryptocurrencies, I think we funded a lot more than can be successful and winners. Okay. And so we'll see a big short shakeout in that regard. But that's not 2018, that's what's coming.
And as regards investing in crypto, do you have any insights about what happened this year? Excuse me.
Well, I think that for experienced investors, we saw and knew that this is an important new area of technology. And so the important steps are to be a long-term investor, to figure out good teams and good ideas and begin to stake out some presence in the space. I think that the crypto assets themselves, as I already mentioned, were probably over-hyped, but also over-supported, okay. And the failure rate will be high. So from an investing point of view, you probably didn't want to be too active a token investor unless you were prepared to buy and sell very rapidly. And I think for long-term investors, tokens were a place to be careful, and that will continue to be true.
Great. And so tell me, what's your vision of 2019? Where are we going with the crypto blockchain world?
Yes. Well, in some regards, I think it's a continuation of what I just said. So I think 2019 is a year to continue to build core infrastructure, to stand up real companies with real teams, right. And to begin to figure out which targets of opportunity and value propositions make most sense. And I think there'll be some obvious areas in payments and financial transactions, perhaps also in areas such as tokenization and securitization of investments, and there's some other areas that really will begin to get traction. I think that the people that sell the shovels to the miners, the infrastructure companies and providers, will continue to do quite well, and we're seeing some of those companies become very real and substantial players, the Coinbases and Abras and so on of the world. I think in tokenization, we're going to see a lot of failure, but we always see a lot of failure in new technologies. So I think 2019 continues to be, as it always is for early stage investors, a time to be very careful, try and pick great teams with great ideas and be highly diversified, but on the other hand, avoid like crazy the unknown players with the lofty ideas and high valuations, but potentially not a clear plan for realizing those promises. And then in sort of cryptocurrency world, to be honest, I think there'll be very few winners. I don't know that we'll see them surface in 2019. I think that's a 3 to 5 year conversation. Okay. And I don't know who the winners will be. So I think you either make a choice to stake out, the top 15, 20 protocols and hope that you get the 3 or 5 winners in the mix, okay. Or else perhaps you sit on the sidelines and wait a little longer. Personally, myself, I don't think that we'll end up with hundreds and hundreds of winning global protocols. I think we'll end up with a handful. And it's not clear to me, even in the top 15 that we have today, that we can see more than 3 or 5 that were long-term players.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Really appreciate that overview. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think this was going to be a great panel.
I'm sure it will be. And by the way, the other panelists, BitGo and Securitize and so on, you've really got a great group together. I'm looking forward to learning from them.
Right. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you very much.
Okay.